Hi, I'm your host, Erica Polsinelli, and welcome to Evolve by Erica, the podcast, where we talk all things spirituality, ascension, health, wellness, and beyond. I'm so excited that you are here. Come on in. Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode. I'm excited to be here solo today. We love our solo episodes, and it's always a time where we get to just catch up, cozy together. I was explaining to someone who is interested in starting a podcast, how I truly, and you guys know this because I tell you all the time, but I just feel like it's such a sacred little space for us to be together. And Instagram is wonderful and I love sharing there, but this is just a very different space. And I feel so intimately connected to one another here. And I'm just so grateful that you come back to this podcast. There are so many podcasts that you could be tuning into. And I feel so grateful that you want to spend your time here and chat about all the high vibrational things that we like to talk about here. And it's just going to get more and more and more high vibrational as we go on. If you may have seen my recent Instagram story post about just wanting to really share so much of who I truly am on Instagram. I feel like on the podcast, I'm always going there. And I want to show more of that on Instagram because for a while, and you know this too, because we hang out and I tell you this all the time, but for a while I was feeling just, I guess, like pressure to show up on Instagram and doing it in a way that like maybe I didn't necessarily have to. And I believe that there's definitely a way it could be so much more fun and organic and authentic. And that is my plan going forward. And I know that it's not always easy to share in the ways that you know you're different from the collective or from society. And I know a lot of you who come here and listen, you're one of those people most likely where you feel like you're kind of creating your own way in this world and you don't really align with a lot of what you see out in society, but you have your ways of doing things and your beliefs. And honestly, sometimes it's scary to speak about. And I love how I get the microphone and like we're taking this conversation a whole other way than I anticipated, but that's just how it goes. And that's why it always just flows right here with you guys. And I appreciate it so much. But I think that when we're on this spiritual journey and path, there is so much duality and there is so much lightness that exists on the planet right now. I really believe more light than ever, but there is just as much darkness more than ever. And we see the darkness mostly because that is absolutely what's on the forefront. It's how news is reported. It's what gets amplified on social media. And the dark has been quite dark over the past month. And I'm filming this in October. It's been a really hard month for so many. And I believe that when we're on this path of awakening, a lot of the things we see, we feel, we experience just might not be how others see it, feel it, and experience it. And I've realized and learned that social media is a one-way conversation. It's a bunch of creators, everyone who's posting there in some capacity as a creator, posting their perspective, their point of view, putting that out into the world. And it's not like this open forum. And then of course you have the fun comment section. Guys, comment section is like where it's at. It's pretty wild what goes on there and sometimes even scary. But I just started to realize over the past year of sharing how I feel like I've been dimming my light a little bit as I show up there. I feel like I've been self-censoring a little bit as I show up there. I feel like being a Libra or just being a person who really can understand so many different perspectives and so many different points of view sometimes I struggle with showing up and sharing either my opinion or my perspective because I can hear, and not just hear, but actually empathize and understand with every other perspective that exists. So I came to this realization that I want to start showing up more in a way where I want to honor what I feel, what I see as my perspective. And I want to share things in such a humble way of anyone who knows me, loves me, follows me, is in this community, knows that I'm just sharing from my personal perspective. I know that it doesn't mean it's right because it's mine. I know that a million others exist. And just be a little bit more bold, be a little bit more courageous, and be a little bit more straightforward about just my beliefs, my practices, and be out there and go for it and be super spiritual and not be scared that I'm going to scare somebody off. Because I think at the end of the day, and this goes for if you have a social media platform or if this is just you navigating your world and your life, if we are holding ourselves back from being 100% ourselves and sharing 100% what's on our mind or heart, we're going to miss a lot of people and opportunities that are really destined for us. And we might, in the meantime, attract a community that may be different than the very aligned community, friendships, whatever it is, that is aligned for us if we're holding our sparkle back. So I just wanted to share that I think it's so important to constantly be taking inventory on our life, on what we're putting out, the words we're speaking, the thoughts we're thinking, and how our actions, our thoughts, and our words truly align to who we are at the core, what our truth is. Because if it doesn't, we're sending mixed signals to the universe, and we're not going to be able to align and attract to exactly what's destined for us. So I think that's something that we can all just start to take a little bit of inventory and like challenge ourselves to do and become more of an observer of our thoughts, our words, our actions, and think, is this completely aligning to who I am at my core, to my greatest and most truthful self, and be able to move from that space. And once we do that, even though it might be scary, once we start to do that, we're going to become way more aligned. We're going to bring the experiences, the people that we're meant to align with around us, and it's just going to gravitate to us. And I really believe that when we start to act from that place of authenticity and truth, the universe works a lot quicker because all of a sudden we removed any of the gravel, any of the resistance, any of the traction, and it's just like a smooth sailing to where we're supposed to be and what is meant for us. So I feel like I've always showed up really authentically, but I think, I don't know, it might be turning 35. I see a lot of people who are in their 40s and they just say like when they're in their 40s, they just like don't care as much about anything other than being their 100% authentic self. And I think in my journey, I always felt I was being authentic every step of the way. But now 35 has challenged me to be like, Erica, you could be a little bit more courageous. You could be a little bit more daring. You could put out there what maybe you've been holding back publicly, and you can share a little bit more, even though it feels scary. So I know that is also the next evolution of my throat chakra. So we know that we have a chakra system. We have individual chakras that work as a complete system. These are energy centers of our body. And we did a whole chakra challenge over the summer, which was really powerful and really potent. If you weren't part of that, all members have access to it through the membership. But as I'm like burping and clearing right now, talking about the throat chakra and the chakra challenge, that's what happens. But we have these energy centers, and based off of possibly our past lives, our current lifetime that we're living, our experiences in this current lifetime and in our past lives, we could have blockages in this system. And I shared many times before that when I didn't know how to meditate, when I didn't have a practice of my own, I would go to guided meditations. One of the first ones I went to was with Marcy, who's been on the podcast, my friend Victoria Mann. And every time I would have someone guide and tune me in to my energy, my spirit, I would feel a tremendous block in my throat. But I didn't know what that was at the time. I just thought I felt like a lump or emotions stored in my throat. Like that's kind of what it felt like, only more intense. And through my journey, I started to realize like, wow, my throat is the place that needs so much love, that needs so much nourishment, that needs to be cleared. And I think I definitely challenge you, if you haven't already, I actually created a chakra quiz and I've been meaning to bring this back. And I think we could try to find a way to bring this back, link it in the show notes, but I'm also going to add it for members where you guys can tune in at any time, take a quiz, and find out what chakra may be out of alignment for you. And then we have the whole entire chakra challenge that's going to live in the membership where you can access the practices and the meditations for those each individual chakras. So why is that important? It's important because these are energy centers. Each one, they're not connected to a physical organ. Like the heart center isn't connected just to the heart. It's the area that surrounds the heart, the lungs. Those are part of that energy center of the heart chakra. But we can, if we have energetic blocks, we could start to feel physical symptoms of energetic blocks. And that can eventually turn into something a lot more intense, like a disorder or dis-ease in the system. So being able to target the chakras where we feel a little bit out of alignment and be able to use practices to help clear the space there, and then eventually activate and embody the energy that's meant to be shared and be provided by that chakra, that specific chakra, we live more in alignment. So I want to talk a little bit more to this. We start at the root. So at the base of the body is the root chakra. The color that's symbolized there is red, and it is all about feeling safe, secure, like you have a strong foundation. And that's at the base of the spine. Moving up to the sacral chakra, which is right below the belly button, about 3 fingers width below the belly button. That is all about sensuality, creativity, literally the reproductive system, co-creating with the universe. And the color there corresponds to orange. Moving up to the solar plexus is yellow. And that is all about taking action, aligned action towards your goals. As we move up into the upper triangle, so that is the lower triangle. As we move up into the upper triangle, we have the heart center, which is green, love, compassion, oneness, the throat, communication, how we create through our words, then which is blue, up to the third eye, which is purple. And this is all about that visualization, being able to see from the third eye, intuition, and then the crown, which is our connection to divine downloads, accessing divine information, connecting to source energy. And then finally, our aura out and around us. So by practicing the meditations that we have on Evolve, we are activating this energy of the spine, which is the Kundalini that resides at the base of the spine. And if we think about gravity and how our planet works, everything would drop and be on the ground at the bottom unless we actually put effort and energy in to raise whatever energy is there. I'm looking at a planter right now. It is grounded on the floor. I'm on the 23rd floor of this building in New York City. If I put that outside the window and I dropped it, it would fall all the way down because of gravity. And then I would have to, in order to get it up, I would have to literally go to the ground, use my energy, use my life force energy to pick it up and pull it up higher. And that's similar to the energy within our body. The Kundalini energy resides at the base of the spine, and we use these two channels through our spine, through our breath, to breathe in, bring life force energy in through the breath, and then pick up that energy from the base of the spine. When the energy resides in one of the lower 3 chakras, we're living from a more challenging state. We're living out of this space of fear or greed, addictions or habits that are not serving us, a power struggle. But as we move this energy up through the heart and the upper 3 chakras, that's when we connect with compassion, oneness, connection to one another, unity. And as we can see right now, it's definitely something that the world desperately needs. We need to harness our own personal energy, pick it up so that we can access this state of compassion, of truth, of peace, of understanding, of acceptance, of differences. So why I wanted to share all this is because I felt like I was meant to. It came through very clearly. But as we continue to experience personal challenges or collective challenges, I hope that you know you always have this safe space of peace within yourself, within your body, and within the community that we tune into. So when we tune in for practice, we're tuning into the collective frequency of Evolve and the community members of Evolve. You're literally never alone. There are like-minded people, light workers, family of light that are tuning in every day with you. But also when we tune in each morning, we're connecting to the golden chain of teachers. And this golden chain of teachers are all the teachers and healers that have come before us, that walked the planet Earth, that were here during every time of evolution, every shift in age, every intense time on the planet, because they were here to help the collective at that time shift through. They're still supporting us as we transition through. And I'm certain that you are here on the planet during this very challenging time, yet a time of beauty too, and a time of light. We're seeing the conflict of both of those things happen because both exist in the same time, just like the poles, the lightness, the darkness, the North Pole, the South Pole, the duality. You're here during this time to help lift the energy of the planet, the Kundalini energy of the planet that could be really low, by activating our own and lifting the energy on an individual basis. We're doing it, and we're doing it for the collective as well. So I just hope that this brings you hope for the collective, for our world. And whenever you feel a disconnection, I hope that you could take time to meditate, visualizing thousands of other people each morning tuning into these meditations and having that same intention for peace, for the elevation of the planet, for higher consciousness. I hope that you can find comfort in the breath work. I hope that you can pop on Spotify and listen to the Aquarian sadhana mantras, which are mantras that are here to help us shift into the Aquarian age. Excuse me, a lot's clearing right now. So we are shifting from the Piscean age to the Aquarian age. And the Piscean age was rulers, leaders, very top down. And now we're seeing a shift where we realize our power. It's a time of so much light, of acceptance, of love, of truly heaven on earth, all the beautiful things we could ever want to see in our planet. That's the goal. That's the new earth. That's the Aquarian age. And we're seeing a lot of turmoil right now because we're shifting. And anytime we're going from one space, one belief, one way of thinking and living to another, we're going to see a lot of darkness, a lot of conflict. There's going to be energy that wants to stay the same. There's going to be energy that wants to grow, that wants to evolve and wants to expand. So this is all how I've interpreted the teachings that I've learned and the wisdom and divine downloads that I've received through my meditation. And also the teachings specifically of the Aquarian age that you can look up and you can research as well. But recently I got a very specific download about the time that we're seeing right now, but also challenges and struggles that we experience on an individual basis. And the download was, whenever you're going through a time of such challenge, such despair, such sadness, there is that much light also available, because that is the law of duality. If there's darkness that exists, there's light that exists. And the more intense the darkness, the more intense the light at the same time. And where an important part of processing and healing and moving through challenges is sitting with the grief, sitting with the sadness, knowing it, not denying it, right? And that's a really important piece. And there's time that needs to be spent there, and there's practices that can help you move through it. But there's also time where you just need to sit with it. You need to cry, you need to yell, you need to move, you need to do fists of anger, all of those things. But in those times, I challenge you to also look for the wisdom, the expansion that you are being downloaded with at the same damn time that you're experiencing so much pain and so much conflict or so much stress. There's something there that's also giving you so much more and taking you to where you need to go. And I recently went through a really hard time that I'll share more about eventually when I'm ready to share about it. But there were days where I had to sit and cry and grieve. And then there were days where I was able to get these glimpses of like, oh my gosh, if I didn't go through this, I would have never felt this. If I didn't go through this, I would have never had this experience or this perspective or this level of gratitude that I have now. And I think some people could take a soundbite of this and be like, well, that's toxic positivity. You don't have to find the good in everything. And no, you don't have to find the good in everything. Sometimes in life, there are really horrible things that happen and that have no explanation. But on a zoomed out scale, I think with every challenge that we experience, there is a gift also on the other side of that comes. And I open it up to you. Have you experienced that? Can you be open to possibly letting that in and just see what comes from it? See what comes from it. So this was definitely a transmission that came through really clear and hot. I came in here with a completely different intention in sharing today, but this was just something that I guess the collective needed at this time. And I hope in any time of need, you can come here, you can re-listen. It could inspire you, bring you hope, hopefully bring you some love into your heart center. Some things that I've been doing recently to connect more to my heart and to connect more to the energy of peace is just taking a moment midday and putting my hand on my heart and activating my heart center, because there is truly what we all need. And it's that space of love, of compassion, and understanding. And the more we could just take a moment to tap into it, the more we're going to activate that in ourselves, and the more we'll share it with anyone we come in contact with. That's one thing I've been trying to do. And another thing I've been trying to do is when I'm out and about in the world, typically like out getting a smoothie or food shopping or whatever it may be, I'm seeking out human connection. And I just want to be able to allow someone else to feel what love feels like for a moment, even if it's for a second through a smile or through a really deep and sincere thank you with eye contact. And I feel like it's my little way of spreading more love and peace in this world. So that's just something I'm doing, and it's felt really good to do, especially for people who you can just tell are feeling low, might be feeling anger, or might just not be making eye contact with you, not wanting to connect. I really seek out those opportunities, because when we can connect human to human, I think we have a moment of realizing we are so much more alike than we are different. We all yearn, most of us yearn for most of the same things. Just peace, understanding, equality, compassion, love. And through those little micro moments, I think they go a lot further than we can ever expect. So never underestimate the energy that you hold in your body and the energy that you could share with everyone you come in contact with, no matter how big or small it feels. So I just want to say thank you for tuning in. I love you. I'm sending you so much love and peace today. And I hope you can carry that with you and bring that out into the world. Thank you for being here. Sat Nam.